Right, I think we're going live. I see Sean. Oh, it looks like Robert dropped off. Sean, are you there?
I am, yeah.
We are now live. Good evening, everybody. John Hicks here with my buddy Sean, and we had another gentleman here called Robert, but he just cut out. So we'll see, we'll give him a quick second here to see if he can jump back on. He was getting a pretty bad lag on his connection.
If it's any, well, I know this probably isn't helpful, but my Wi-Fi is out right at the moment, so I'm hardwired into the router.
That's probably not a bad thing, right?
Well, I'm thinking that Robert might be out. Like, there's power was out earlier today, so I'm wondering if he's having connectivity issues as well.
Right. All right, so we'll just give it a second here to see if he can get back in. Trying. Let's see if I can figure out if there's anyone watching. I know there's a couple people that said they were going to watch. Make sure it's going out to the pages as well. So it's showing there. Trying to stream it across multiple. This isn't working here. So let's see if I can share this. It didn't reconnect for some reason. So let's share this out. All right. There we go. Now, the other thing I want to do, I know why, is because I lost the live. So this is my first time I've done this, so play and see what's going on.
Testing, 1, 2.
1, 2, 1, 2. So there's a Facebook Live like creator view. Apparently I need to figure out how to set this up, schedule it, and then go back and connect. All right, so Robert. So how are things in Yellowknife today?
Well, the sun is out and the weather is relatively warm, so good.
That is not bad.
No, I can't complain.
That is not bad. That is not bad. All right, do you have a chat window up there, bud, in Zoom?
I do now, yeah.
You should see a link in there.
I do not.
No, all right. So let me come back and Control-C, Control-V. So if you want to pull that up, that's some show notes I put together so you can follow along. And let's just go ahead and get going because I don't think Robert's going to be able to join us, unfortunately. If he does, he'll jump in.
What's the matter? Or does he know?
He dropped off. I think it's just bandwidth connection issues.
Okay. Yeah, if you have an alternate, you need permission to access this.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Hang on. Yeah, hang on a second. Why are you being so slow? What are you doing now?
You having problems? Sean, are you there? Oh, I may be doing this show by myself. Looks like he cut out. He cut out. Okay. So looks like internet in Yellowknife is not working reliably. So we're just going to carrying on. Roll with the punches, so they say. I was going to wait for my buddy Sean to, well, anyways, I'll get to this. So good evening, folks. Welcome to the inaugural live panel, without a panel, show of Patriotism and Perseverance, which is a podcast program I'm putting together. I've been working at it for a while, or I've been wanting to do it for a while. I've been putting some work in, but not doing anything actually productive, except screwing around and buying some gear. So this is the actual first live show, and we are going to talk about the new Liberal government assault weapons ban here in Canada. So introductions, my name is John Hicks. I am a first responder in the Canadian Arctic. I live in the Northwest Territories. I'm a logistics manager by trade, not doing anything right now. So right now I'm serving the local fire department. I'm an EMR certified firefighter. I also have hazmat, obviously I'm certified. So we're doing some COVID response and doing decontamination of the isolation centers and stuff like that. I was going to have on my buddies Sean Whitcomb and Robert Anderson from Yellowknife. My buddy Sean just left my town here and went south to Yellowknife to work, and Robert is a shooter at the Yellowknife range there. We'll see if they can get them in. So now I would like to ask everyone what they're drinking, which will be me. So right now I'm doing a Keys, which is what I've been working on most of the evening, a couple of those. And I'm going to move on to, this is my favorite right now. If you haven't tried this, man, you really got to try this. This is Ewan McGregor's brand, proper 12-year Irish whiskey. Never had a smoky, full-bodied Irish whiskey before, but man, is it good. Tonight's t-shirt, I was going to do this before, but I'll just step out here. We're going to step out. Nice flag, yeah, I like that. I figured I'd rock a little CCFR tonight. Not CCR, but CCFR. So tonight's t-shirt of the show is going to be, here we go. Gun control is not crime control. So this will be the focus of the evening. I got a nice little program laid out for everyone here. We've got some stuff to, got some video clips pulled apart. We're going to listen to and make fun of the guys, Justin Trudeau, Bill Blair, and the gang there. So I hope you all enjoy it. Grab a drink, fill up, cheers, and let's get to it. So one of the things I wanted to talk about, just kind of shooting the shit there with the guys, wanted to see how their COVID cuts are going. So I got my hair cut the other day. My wife did it for me. It's not bad. I'm kind of hiding it here right now behind my hat. But so today the girls got crazy, and the girls wanted to dye their hair. So my eldest has purple hair primarily, a little bit of blue in there, and my youngest has some pink in there. It's great. I'm just seeing if the guys are going to join in here. So just to play along for fun, I am still working technically. I had a rental go out today. I've got a couple more on Saturday, but just to play along, I decided to do my own thing here. So let's see, Mr. Sean has joined back in. Oh, he just died again. Anyways, I dyed my hair blue to play along with him. You like that? And I got to thinking, my wife reminded me actually, I have dyed my hair before. The last time I dyed my hair, here's Robert coming back in. It looks like Yellowknife might be coming back online. Admit Mr. Whitcomb is back. Sean, let's see what's going on here. Hey guys, Oh, my buddy Sean dropped off. Robert, are you there? Connecting to audio. So the last time that I dyed my hair was also blue. It was when I worked for the Canadian Firearms Center, ironically. I was protesting government then too, working as a contractor for those fuckers. So I dyed my hair blue as a anarchist action. Robert, are you there, buddy? Robert, speak to me. He's got video going as well here, so he may just be hung up again. I'm not hearing anything on him. So yeah, this is, we'll see how this goes. We'll see how long the COVID lasts, see how many customers I have to serve like this, but what the hell. All right, good. So tonight's feature topic is going to be the assault weapons ban that was introduced. If you live under a rock, maybe you didn't hear about this, but May 1st of this year, Justin Trudeau, in his infinite wisdom, along with Bill Blair, decided to implement an assault weapons ban in Canada, effective immediately. So my guns, the ones I have that I'll admit to, can no longer come out of the cabinet, can no longer come out of my house, can't go hunting with them, can't take them in the range, can't sell them, can't transfer them, can't get them repaired, can't do anything with them. They just got to sit there. And that'll be 2 years. So what I wanted to do now, let's talk about, so if you're looking for some information here, I'm just going to share my screen here. I'm just going to go over some stuff. So the actual list of information is here on the Canada Gazette. And you will see the entire list of firearms that are all now prohibited. They are completely banned. As I said, do not use, do not play with, do not repair, don't show around. There's a whole whack of them. All right. The other one I'll show you, it's a little bit easier to use. This is Canada Gazette. This was crashing, man. When the announcement came out, this website was unavailable. It was great. The one you really want to know, though, is the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, the RCMP. They have one, What You Need to Know. So this has a nice overview here that we'll kind of use to take a look at. Okay, so what I want to do first is I just want to go over the 1,500 assault weapons that were banned in Canada now the other day. So they start off with the M16, which was already banned, by the way. M16s are illegal. But they've also gone to the AR-10, which is a 308 version, of an AR-15. And they banned 945 of those different makes and models. Then we move on to the Mini 14. They ban, 9 different models of those. They banned the M14, so they banned 43 different models of those, 27 different models of the VZ58. I'm just going to, oh, Robert looks like he's jumped back on here. Robert, you with me? He's joining. Sean came back in. There we go. Let's get these guys back on. Hey, I don't know if you can hear me, guys. Maybe, maybe not. I'm just going to keep talking. All right. So where was I? 4. I can hear somebody there.
Hey, it's me.
Hey, right on, Robert. Hey, there we go. Video 2. Love it. So I'm just going over the list of firearms that were banned here. So we've got 4 different versions of the XCR, understanding that they're multi-caliber rifles. So there's a whole bunch of them that fit in there. The entire line of the CZ Scorpion, the CX Storm, which was the firearm of controversy from the Dawson College shooting. All the SIG MCX, MPX, and 2 Rattler Pistols, which Robert, do you know what a Rattler pistol is? Robert? Robert, are you there? Can't hear him anymore. And 16 different models of the Swiss Arms, which is the firearm of controversy that was banned previously and then brought back by the Conservative government. So those are the assault rifles. Now, there's not 1,500 guns there, so we're going to talk about the rest of those in just a second. But first, let's talk about what didn't make the list. And let me just stop sharing here so I can actually talk to a screen. Hey, there we go. So what else made the list? Now, this is interesting. So there's 1,500 firearms that were banned. There's not 1,500 assault weapons that were banned, though. So what are the other ones? So a couple other categories there that they created. One is any firearm with a muzzle velocity, muzzle energy over 10,000 joules. So basically, this is 50 caliber rifles, right? So all your big caliber rifles, your 50 cals, 175 of them by name, make, and model were effectively banned. These, just so you know, these are not guns that are committing crimes. Most of these firearms, these are multi-$1,000 firearms, if not 5,000. Sean is trying to come back in again. Robert, there's Robert, hopefully, seeing how we're going. So these are, I mean, some firearms, some 50 cals go for $5,000 to $10,000. I don't really think that your average gangbanger is going to be driving down the street shooting one of these, protecting their drug territory. The other new category that they, Robert, are you there? Robert? Keeping going. The other new category that they created or that they banned was any firearm with a bore diameter of 20 millimeters or greater.
I'm back here, I guess, for a minute.
Right on. Sean, are you there?
Yes, sir. Can
Sean?
you hear me?
Yeah,
Hello?
I can hear you, Robert. I don't see a little mic next to Sean, though. He's chatting. Activate your audio. All right. So I'm just going over the rifles there, Robert. So the last ones, and there are 280 of these that are listed, which are the bore diameters of 20 millimeters or greater. What do you think about that, Robert? Have you seen the list? Wow, Yellowknife is having some serious eyes. There we are, Robert. Can you hear me now? Wow, he's trying.
Yeah, I can hear you, but it probably won't be for long. It's not working very well here.
Hey, Sean, are you there now?
Are you there?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Right on. So we're just going over the list of firearms that were actually banned. Have you seen the list, Sean?
I have, yes. I was very disappointed to learn that I can no longer own a 3-inch mortar.
Ironic you say that. That's exactly where I'm at. The 280 20 millimeter greater rocket launchers. This is basically what these are.
Yeah, that works.
Mortars, recoilless rifles. I've seen reports. I saw one that it costs over $200,000 for one of these things. I wouldn't mind, but I don't know I'd waste my money on one. But you know what? This brings up an interesting point with these carte blanche government rules, because a lot of these are also flare launchers and smoke launchers. So I would imagine there's a lot of industrial applications that I can kind of think of where these would actually be still useful. What do you guys think? No one's got thoughts on that? I think there's lag going on still. So that's all funny and amusing. 280 rocket launchers and mortars and that kind of shit. Recoilless rifles banned. Can't use them. Can't even take them out of your house. But here's the big thing. There was a legal opinion rendered today from the Canadian Sport Shooting Association. Sean, are you there? Sean, are you there? Robert, are you there?
Am I back?
Yes, you are, sir.
Oh, that's brutal.
We're just talking. We're just talking about the unintended consequence of the 20 millimeter bore or greater come out from the CSSA.
Okay, getting to that, probably about an hour ago, there was a statement out that I saw on there. Bill Blair kind of retracting, saying that that was not true, blah, 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 blah.
Well,
and anyway,
I saw a picture of a caliper inside of a shotgun, and it looked like it was over 20 millimeters. So.
Yeah, I saw a couple. One was at 20.02.
Yep.
And there was another one there. I think it was 20.17. So it's hard to say, but like I was saying there a little bit ago, there was some stuff that came on there, and Bill Blair issued a statement saying that that wasn't true. They had no intentions of banning shotgun, blah, 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 blah. And they were going to issue a letter. And then he went on to ramble about, the truth,
The truth.
The truth.
We'll get to the truth here in a bit. I got some great video clips lined up for us to talk about the truth.
Oh, did you do a compilation of that, did you?
What a guy. Wow. What a guy.
Yeah.
So no intention of banning shotguns. That's interesting because I do know there is at least one shotgun specifically listed by name. And that's the US TAS 12.
Yeah, I think I saw that somewhere through there.
Yeah. So that is in there listed by name, semi-automatic mag-fed shotgun.
Yeah.
Right? Now, of course, there are other mag-fed shotguns. I don't know of any semis, but I know the 870 has a mag-fed version. The Mossberg has a mag-fed.
Grizzly has a whole line, all mag-fed. Typhoon, Dira, there's tons of them.
In and out. Oh yeah, though. And what are those used for, Robert?
Well, I mean, it's a shotgun. You can use it for whatever purpose you want to use it for. You can use it for hunting, skeet, trap, whatever you want to use it for.
What's the biggest up-and-coming use for a semi-automatic mag-fed shotgun?
Ducks and geese.
3-gun?
Pardon me?
3-gun?
Well, 3-gun as well, yeah. If your range will allow it. This has been an issue here in Yellowknife. The guys want to do a 3-gun, and apparently it seems to be an issue because they'd have to bring up a CFO, and he'd have to go all through the range, and they have to do this and that and other thing.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's not for the sake of not having the room.
Yeah,
it's the berms, and there's a template that they use. So they put it down over the map of the range, and you got to have so much to this side and so much to that side, and you can't be able to, your angle of fire can't exceed the direction of the whether it's north, south, west, or whatever. Right? Everything has to be contained. The biggest problem that they made with the Yellowknife range was they gave up some of their property.
Oh, that's never.
And it over towards the sand pits, where everybody uses it for walking the dogs and the bikes and all that shit, eh?
Yeah.
I think at the time, a few years back, they thought it was a good idea, keep the peace and share and everything like that. But
Try to keep the antis happy.
yeah,
Yeah, look where we're at
Yeah.
now. Yeah.
the
We had a visit 2 years ago now, I think. So we just did a whole bunch of work last year, and we got a bunch of more work to do this year, but to meet specs
Yeah.
like that, the berms and that kind of stuff. So
we got a bunch of work to do too, and whether or not it's going to get done is another thing. But
Yeah.
having said that, we just went through. Well, we were approached by the Canadian Armed Forces, Canadian military, and they wanted to possibly sign a contract with the Yellowknife Shooting Club for use of the range.
nice.
But again, they ran into an issue on the length. So they were going to go and talk to the city and get everything rezoned and this and that and the other thing. And
Right.
then I think it just, they said no, it was going to be too much of a hassle. So they kind of just walked away. But this is the thing. I mean, the military up here has no place to train.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they go out in the wintertime, they can go out on the lake out in the middle of nowhere or whatever at -40 and freeze their groonies. But, you know,
Pretty sure that technically doesn't follow some protocols somewhere
yeah.
for training.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they had been out there in the past,
Yep.
years ago, right? They used it. But
Yep. Liability being what it is, they want to have everything nice and tight, right?
yeah,
But yeah, we had the RCMP and Parks Canada come on partners with ours to do
Yep.
their training and stuff like that. So that's kind of where.
now I got ERT for 3 days this month on the all-knife range for rifle.
Yep.
ERT. So that's going to be interesting.
Yeah, my range is still covered in snow, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Is what it is.
Well, the majority of ours is too, but I mean, people are going out and they're using it.
Yeah, unless you're on snowmobile, you're not getting to where we shoot. So yeah, I just want to talk about one more that made it to the list. There were some 22s in there.
Yeah.
There's a kind of a whole whack of 22s in there, actually.
And that was interesting because the only one that I thought that might have made that list would have been the Smith & Wesson because it was already restricted.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the ones they seemed to go after were the AR platform kind of style ones, right?
Well, yeah.
So that's interesting, though, because in a second we're going to talk about what didn't make the list.
Yeah.
I think that's worth talking about just as much as what did make the list.
Now, I hadn't seen that part of the list, but was there any GSGs on that?
Got the list right here, actually. I was helping the fine folk at the CCFR go through some stuff here, and I highlighted a bunch. My Daniel Defense, obviously, is there. You said GSGs?
Yeah.
I think I got quite that far looking for 22s. GSGs. Nope. But there was an H&K, I think. I've got a couple here. Well, people are probably pissed off I'm flipping through papers on camera. But
Not much you can do about that.
so the Smith & Wesson M&P 15
Yeah.
in the 22 caliber. Spike's Tactical ST 22. Tipman Arms M4 22. You know, the paintball maker?
Yeah.
Yeah. They produce a 22. Trojan Firearms, those are 9 mils. The UTAS shotgun. Yeah, so there's a few 22s in there. I think there's a few I missed that someone else in the field officer group there picked up on, but because they specifically said no shotguns, no rimfires. Did they not?
Yeah.
I even had a discussion with a local guy here who ran as an MLA, who apparently can get Michael McLeod on the phone.
Oh, great.
Can you get Michael McLeod on the phone?
Mike McLeod will not talk to me.
I can't get Michael McLeod on the phone.
No.
The staff won't talk to me either. They keep hanging up on me.
Yeah.
Twice on Friday. Well, I hung up on them once, but yeah, all I get from them are canned responses. Somehow he gets them on his cell phone. So hopefully he'll follow up on this for me, because he specifically said, Michael told me no shotguns, no rim fires. Right.
It's funny. I was talking to one of the local media people here on the weekend, and I contacted him and I said, what's this? Where the hell is this guy at? This Michael McLeod fella. Where's he hiding? And I said, he's got to answer some questions. And the guy flat out told me, he said, forget it. He won't answer your questions.
There's not one post on his Facebook page about it.
No.
Everyone else had the little banner that they put up, right?
He described him as a party bootlicker.
Yeah. Photo ops. Hands out money and takes photo ops.
Yeah.
That's it. And he's voted with them 100% of the votes.
Yeah.
100%.
But it's funny.
So I had to resort to Twitter.
Sorry, what was that?
But I had to resort to Twitter.
Yeah.
So I'm going after him on Twitter a bit.
Even here in Yellowknife now, it's almost impossible to get my MLA. She won't respond now.
Really?
Nope. Nobody in the GNWT, because I sent letters even to the premier looking for a position, their stance regarding firearms.
Yeah.
Zero response.
Wow.
So I've reached out a couple more times and still heard nothing.
I will give my MLA credit, and I am well known in my community for my opinion. I sent her a message on Facebook. She contacted me probably within an hour.
Yeah.
And we had a very, very, Sean can't get back on. We had a very good, frank and open conversation. And she even, her mother was murdered. Her mother is a missing and murdered Indigenous woman, Alberta, I believe, and was murdered by a hunter with a long gun.
Mm.
So, but she recognizes that it happens. It's sad, but yeah, this is not the way to go. And her main concern, of course, is the complete usurping of parliamentary process.
Yeah.
Right. Not even the gun factor. It's the diplomatic problem with it. It's the parliamentary process problem that they did using the order in council.
Yeah, that's I don't know what exactly we're supposed to do. I mean, to me, the whole thing is a sham, and it's purely 100% political, and it's nothing but pandering for votes.
Well, and on top of that, and on top of the whole order in council bullshit, they do it during a time of national emergency.
Yes.
When the House isn't even sitting effectively and they can't be held to account.
Yeah.
Now, there was a question period today, right?
Well, it brings you back to the integrity tour, doesn't it?
Right?
Right?
That must be sent across.
The lack of integrity tour is what it should have been called.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Did you happen to catch the question period today?
No.
No, I didn't either. I was busy doing stuff and getting ready. Yeah, so let's talk about what didn't make it on the list, because I think there's a lot to be said here. Anyways, we'll get here. So the big one, I'm happy with this. I know it's going to get it eventually, is the Macabee Defense SLR.
Mm.
So let's talk about first the ones that did make it. Sorry, I had a couple notes here. Under the AR category, the Stag 10, the Stag 15.
Yeah.
When did those rifles come out? 3 years ago now, maybe?
Yeah, they haven't been out long.
Not long. He's specifically designed for the Canadian market.
Yeah.
To fit around our stupid laws that we have here. This is my BCL 102.
Mm-hmm.
This is now banned.
Yeah.
You'll see a nice picture of this in action actually in a little bit. In a video or after a video, I can show you a picture of it. That came out maybe 2 years ago, Robert.
Yep.
Again, specifically against the rules as written for non-restricted firearms. Right? It's got a 5-round mag, 18.5-inch barrel. It's basically no different than my other 308, except it holds like 2 more rounds.
Yeah. Here we go. And it's a prime example. What is it? It's a freaking hunting rifle.
I took my first moose with it.
And it's cosmetics. The gun doesn't function any different. Huh? The gun doesn't function any differently.
Nope, absolutely not.
If anything, it's a little bit lighter, easier to carry.
Yeah. And you know what that costs. Do you think they're going to pay me that?
No.
No.
That's why you're not going to give it up. No.
I won't have that by the time they come for it. I'll sell it off to somebody else.
Yeah.
Oh, I can't say that anymore. Maybe I'll lose it in a vote. I don't know.
But yeah.
But the Macabee Defense, the SLR, which I will neither admit or deny to owning one, was given a pass.
Yeah.
223 semi-automatic AR-ish platform. So I asked about this, and the one guy, the only explanation I got from a guy was that the receiver slides apart.
No, well, you know yourself, right? This was a list that they threw together.
Yep.
To make it look like they were doing something because they had to move. They had to do something while everybody was in chaos.
Yep.
And push it through. Well, I mean, crazy. Look how fast the Mounties got that the changes out on the page and stuff like that. They've been at this for some time. They were just waiting for the right time, right?
Mm-hmm. Don't forget, I used to work for them. I've done that. I've done that. Yep. So the other one that didn't make it on the list, and this is really big, is the SKS.
Yeah, exactly. Eh?
An actual weapon of war. Yeah. Oh my God.
And speaking of which, I see that there was one of those seized in Watson Lake.
No.
By the, April 30th. Now check out this name. National Weapons Enforcement Team, Support Team.
Yeah, the NWES team, yeah.
The NWES. Never heard of it until today.
They've been around since the beginning.
Yeah. So
they're the guys, when the cops need help, those are the guys they call, and they can tickle the keys and.
Yeah, they like to kick in doors and stuff. Apparently.
Yeah.
So anyway, this gentleman that I'm not 100% sure of this because I'm a little bit confused, but someone said he may be a former RCMP officer. Jordan Teeters, 41. Was arrested without incident. Apparently, this guy had previous weapons charges. During the search of his residence, officers located and seized the following amongst other items. Components believed to be for an AR-15 assault rifle. Guy had previous weapons charges. Ammunition. Residence, officers located and seized the following amongst other items. Components believed to be for an AR-15. An SKS assault rifle. Firearms and ammunition, manufacturing equipment, whatever the hell that means.
Reloading supplies.
Okay, so he was charged with the following offenses. Breach, undertaking section 145, 4A criminal code. Unsafe storage, section 91, 3 criminal code. Possession of prohibited weapons, section 91 criminal code. Possession of firearm without a license, section 92 criminal code. Possession of a prohibited weapon, section 91 criminal code. Now here's the kicker. He was released by the courts on conditions.
Of course he was.
Awesome.
Of course he was.
Yeah.
Yep.
I couldn't believe that. That was dated today. Apparently this happened. Let me see. They were made aware of all this stuff on April the 30th, but it took them until May 3rd to get a warrant. And here, this is sketchy. Okay. A search warrant was executed on the man's residence in the early morning hours of May 3rd, 2020, based on a risk assessment and the man's history with firearms and threat-related offenses. A full critical incident program team consisting of ERT and other support elements was deployed to assist.
Interesting.
Good God.
That sounds like red flag laws right there.
You know, but anyway, this whole thing, they were acting on a tip.
Yeah.
Somebody said, buddy's got some guns. He's not supposed to have them.
Yeah. And he
All right. 100%. I agree with that, right? But Jesus, why are you putting them back out on the street?
Right.
You know?
Because that's what they do.
Yeah. And we see it time and time. It seems like every time we see somebody, they get caught, and it's usually people that aren't supposed to have guns, prohibited, criminal records, blah, blah, blah. They just cut them loose.
Yep.
There's one right now in Ontario. What is it? He's facing 19 firearm charges.
Yeah. Is that the one that was refused bail in January?
Yeah.
And then
gave him bail.
They got him on another charge, and then they gave him bail.
Yeah, and he's murdered somebody in the past.
Right.
I don't get it.
Yep.
You know, if that was you or I, holy shit.
What's that other bill? C-75?
Yeah, that was the one that reduced all the yeah. So you can go out
Reforming Justice Act.
Yeah, you can be a dirty pervert and get away with it. Basically.
Yeah, that made things like terrorism and smuggling and human trafficking possible summary convictions.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, including smuggling of firearms, actually, ironically. Right? Yeah.
Terrorism. That was one of the
recruiting into gangs, criminal organizations, and for terrorism.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we have a thing for that, apparently. So I just want to give a shout out there to Ellis Ruger. He's on Facebook. He's watching us, totally watching this. Lots of lag, though. He's complaining about your internet there in Yellowknife there, Robert.
Yeah, it was brutal. I don't know. I actually shut the Wi-Fi off on my phone, which was sitting on the desk here. Now, whether or not that had anything to do with it, but, I mean, we seem to be good now. We haven't had any issues here.
Maybe they got everything rebooted all right.
Yeah.
So there's another firearm I want to talk about for a little second here, and then we'll get to what our thoughts are about why they did this. So you saw that they banned a bunch of 22s that were AR platform, but they did not ban the Ruger SR22.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why do you think? It's an AR platform. It's an AR-ish rifle.
I don't know. What's the mag capacity? Mag capacity 10?
That's same as another 22, yeah.
Well, I mean, I got GSGs here that are 23, 20, 24, 25 round.
Yep.
You know?
Yep. So you want to know what I think? It's a 1022, right? Basically, the SR22. Which would make it the same as all the other 22s I own.
They're all the same.
Exactly the same.
Yeah.
So do they want to open that can of worms that basically you can take the action out of a rifle, put it from a wood stock to a plastic stock to I've got an MDT milled stock for it.
Yeah.
Or I can drop it in a black plastic stock and call it a tactical rifle.
Yeah. Well, how many platforms are there for that Ruger 1022?
Oh God.
I've lost track.
Right.
Huh? And like you say, I mean, it's just like changing the wheels on your freaking car, right?
Yep. Exactly. Put a spoiler on it. Call it something different.
Put a spoiler on it. Fog lights. Yeah. Big wind deflector on it.
Say hi here. Show them your hair. We all dyed our hair.
Yeah. Why not?
All right. Go bug mom. Hugs. Aw. So how many, between all the 1022s, how many of those do you think are out there, bud?
Crazy. Well, I mean, that's one of the most popular ones out there. You know, there's in Canada, holy shit, there must be hundreds of thousands of them. I would
Hundreds
say.
of thousands.
Yeah.
Now, they're not really that expensive, right?
Well,
$400 maybe, $500 for a
well,
basic
you
car?
know, it depends. You know, it's by the time you do what you want to do with it, I guess. I mean, you want to put optics on it or anything like that, and you probably, you know, let's say $500 for the gun and another $500, so it's $1,000 gun.
Yep. Yeah, $500 just for the base gun, just for the Woodstock carbine.
Yeah, extra mags and all that good stuff.
I've got one in an MDT stock, the LSS 22. I've got one in a Magpul X Hunter takedown. Got another one too. Can't think of that one off the top of my head. And then I got my SR 22. All the same gun.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the cash on that's not a big deal. It'd be the same as banning SKSs, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
A few
$200 rifle.
Right? But how many people would they affect?
Yeah. Oh God. Well, I mean, everybody's got a 22.
Yep.
And other than myself, I've never bought an SKS. I don't own one, but everybody else has them.
Yep.
Right. But God Almighty, how many of them are out there?
Exactly. When I talked to that guy that ran for MLA, he's indigenous, right? And he's like, well, as long as they don't they're not banning shotguns, my rimfires, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's part of the problem there too, is the FUDs out there that and I hate to use that term.
Yep.
But, and I had this conversation you can go on my Facebook page and look at it. It's still there. I didn't take it down. I don't care. It doesn't affect me. You know, why are you throwing your fellow freaking gunnies under the? I'm not doing that.
Any gun
I don't care.
Who's okay with having any guns taken away from another gunner doesn't deserve the guns they have.
And it's, why, give me a reason why I shouldn't own an AR-15. Why can you don't want me to have it, but for what reason?
Yeah, well, we'll get there because they gave reasons, right?
Yeah, well, nobody should have one. Why? We can't hunt with it. No, but you can do a lot of other stuff for it. I mean, it's target shooting. It's a fun, nice gun.
Well, why can't we hunt with it?
Pardon me?
Why can't we hunt with it? Because they say we can't.
They're saying that you shouldn't have it because you can't hunt with it.
Because they say we can't. Because they're restricted.
Because it's restricted. But it wasn't always restricted.
Want to know what this is? This is an AR-10.
Yeah.
This was patterned.
Perfectly legal to hunt with.
Patterned directly off an AR-10.
Yeah.
With a couple modifications to make it Canadian.
But they don't understand it. They don't want to listen to you explain it to them. And they don't want to do their own research.
Yeah. Well, and the bigger thing is, we'll see this when we start getting into some video clips here, is it's all emotion and conjecture. Right? There's a reason they spend so many words talking about the mothers and the daughters and the sons, and that's all tragic, don't get me wrong. Yeah. But there's a reason why Trudeau was sent out there for 10 minutes first to give his pre-sale.
Yeah.
Which is basically what it was.
His lisp talk.
Don't get me started.
Okay.
But he's pre-selling the message, right?
Yeah.
And
people are buying it.
Yeah, and it's a lot of emotion and a lot of conjecture and a lot of misinformation and lies, which, again, we'll get here to in just a bit. But so you want to hear my prediction?
Giver.
Want to hear? So I think they're thinking that in between this coronavirus stuff and the next 2 years, we're going to see an election.
Yep.
because he doesn't want to go from spending $100 billion to spending a couple $100 million more without getting another clear mandate. Because his
Well,
mandate right now is bullshit.
I think he may have got himself in a bit of a trouble here now. Considering that national debt is over $1 trillion and it is the most deficit since World War II.
Yeah.
And there's no money. I don't know where he's getting it. But I mean, that was like when they were doing their pre-election spending there in what was it, June, July, and August, or should I? No, let me change that. July, August, September.
Yeah.
When they were flying all over Canada, every one of his ministers and that were, those planes never stopped. They were flying everywhere. And what was it? Over $3 billion in pre-election spending. Just vote for me. We'll send you the money.
Exactly.
Yeah. Look at Michael McLeod. Man, he was pulling checks out of his pocket, left, right, and center. Although,
I know.
clearly the vote, people didn't actually vote for him. He only got, I think, what was it, 39% of the vote? But
Yeah.
no, but the rest of it was split between everybody else, right? And I mean, he only got in with like, well, 40% of the vote.
Well, there really were no good, strong contenders this time.
But what are you going to do? I mean, he bought off the media. The media attacked Andrew Scheer daily. They never let up.
Yeah.
You know, Justin Trudeau, he could have fallen in shit. And, you know, it was sickening to watch.
I think some days he did.
Well,
I think some days he did. So here's my prediction, but you're going to see an election within the next 2 years. I mean, obviously, right? Because his mandate's going to come up anyways. And there's going to be a round two because they have to keep themselves relevant.
yep.
So I think right after the election, you're going to see another round and you're going to see sweeping. Like, you want to talk sweeping. This is not sweeping. This is stuff that affects, 150, 250,000 Canadians.
Yeah. They're going to go after the handguns. They're going to go after the pump actions, and they're going to go after the lever actions.
They'll go after anything semi-automatic, period.
Yep.
Rimfire, shotgun, you name it. They'll go after the SKS. They'll go after all of that, leaving only the manual action guns. And then that'll leave them round 3, of course, because they're on a roll, right? So that's what I think is going to happen. But we'll see. We have 2 years to bring down this government, right?
Yeah.
Fight.
Like I say, I you hate to say it, but we're on the fence.
Yeah.
And I actually had this conversation with some people today, and it has come down to the Canadian military and the RCMP and your regional police forces across the country are going to have to make a decision on which side they're going to be on.
Yeah.
Because this just isn't going to fly.
Yeah. So
it's a dangerous game they play.
it's that, and that's kind of my strategy at this point, Robert, is my plan is to force them to draw a gun to take my gun.
Mm-hmm.
And on camera in my front foyer, on audio, on video, I want you to draw your firearm, your government-sponsored firearm, to take away my firearm.
Yeah.
And I want that on video. Because that's really what it comes down to.
Yep.
Because at the end of the day, this is my favorite. The only gun actually designed and allowed to be pointed at other human beings is one owned by government.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Because it's an offense for you to do it.
Exactly. To even point it.
Yep.
As a joke, right? So. Yep.
Can't even point it. Not even jest.
Yeah. But they can commit murder and they can get away with it.
It's fun. I had to laugh there. Was it last night? Yeah. So my mom, she's, God love her, she's 80. Well, she'll be 88 this year, right? And one of the first things that she asked me was, what are you going to do with your guns? The ones that they banned. What are you going to do? And I said, well, right now, I said, I'm not giving them up. I'm not going to comply.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what do you can't do that. They'll come. I said, they'll have to come.
They'll have to.
They'll have to, because I said, I'm not volunteering. I paid for those. I was legally allowed to have them.
Yep.
And, geez, John Deserka.
Yep.
Yeah.
I saw that email come out. Somebody sent that to me.
I was talking to him last night. Actually, I went over and got a gun belt from him. But anyway, he's got 15 ARs. 15.
Wow.
So there's, okay, let's say $2,000 a pop.
Easy.
Okay. So there's $30,000. He's pretty much, because he's a freaking gear hoarder. He's probably got optics for every one of them. He's got mags for every one of them. He's got furniture for every one of them.
Yeah.
So easily somewhere between $50,000 and $60,000.
Yep. And
he's sick to his stomach.
Yeah. Oh, I can believe it.
Yeah.
I can believe it.
He asked me, he said, do you have a flash hider? He said, I got a gun back that was Caracoated. The guy forgot to send me and I said, well, what are you going to do with it? Well, yeah, I got one here. But,
so, you know what, Robert, that actually reminded me something I wanted to get to tonight was, let me just share my screen again here. I want to pull up a different screen. So this is from the, I keep getting this Zoom pop-up thing here. Let me pull up the RCMP sheet. There we are. So let's get down to what they want to do. So it says here, this is, how the prohibition affects current owners. So do you remember about the grandfathering that we were talking about the other day on the CCFR?
Yeah.
Where the fuck did that go?
I was looking for it too, because it specifically said that under the grandfathering, it would have to be rendered, it'd have to be deactivated in order for you to keep it. So
I put up a post to the field officer group on the 5th. Let me just go in here, pull up my post. I had all this set up on my computer crashed a little while ago. Search for myself. And so I put up a question. You may have seen this. It was my Something Here Stinks post. I don't know if you saw that. So the post I put up yesterday at 5:15 says, and this is a quote, I copied and pasted this right off this page that we're looking at, said, the government has announced its intention to provide owners with the choice to return their firearm for buyback or elect a grandfathering option.
Yeah.
And we can see it right here. The government intends to implement a buyback program and is looking at a range of options.
Yep.
So, and I posted another question to the group earlier, and Tracy Wilson, the what is she, a VP?
Yeah, she's the VP of Public Relations.
That's her actual title.
Yeah, I think so.
She basically said it looks like they're trying to walk back grandfathering on these firearms.
Yeah, I think I caught that as well.
Yeah.
But I know I saw somewhere that when they were talking about this this grandfathering clause, it was the rifle would have to be made inoperable. In order to keep it, it would have to be, yeah.
Maybe that's why they took it down, as the language was
language was probably sketchy on it.
Yeah. Which would make sense why they want to walk back that option. Yeah.
Now it sounds like, from what bits and pieces that they've been saying all day long, was that that's not even going to be an option. So it's either you give it up and they'll give you some money for it, or I don't know. I guess you go
to the door.
I guess you go to jail.
They send their guns to the door.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I want to run through some stuff here now. This is stupid shit they said. So let's take a look. I've got a few things lined up here, so let me share this off. You guys are going to see media player come up here in between these clips here, but we'll just talk about them. So again, Trudeau started off, he talked for a very long time about hopes and dreams and fears and all that good sort of stuff. And this is this is not the one I wanted to start with. Give me 1 second, sorry. Here we are. So let me just back this up. We'll share that screen again. There's that little cocksucker there. All right. Let me get over to here, see what I can see what we're doing. And
chapter in our history cannot be rewritten, but what happens next is up to us. We can stick to thoughts and prayers alone, or we can unite as a country and put an end to this. We can decide together that enough is enough.
so I think I'm playing them out of order here from the note. Yeah, I did. But what do you think about that comment there, Robert?
Hey, give me 5 minutes in a room with a.
So his basic point was, you know, thoughts and prayers aren't enough anymore.
Yeah.
We need to do something. Let's talk about $327 million, shall we?
Well, see, this is the thing here, because when that started, okay, when they first came out with that was $450 million.
Yeah, to start
They
with.
were going to. It was $450 million that they were going to put out there for law enforcement to fight criminals, gangs, and illegal guns, and $100 million thereafter, every year thereafter, right?
Yeah, you bet.
Then the next time we heard about it, it was 400. So somewhere, you know, somebody got $50 million. I guess maybe it was MasterCard, but anyway. So the next time we hear about it, it's 375 million and $1 million every year thereafter for 5 years or whatever the hell it was going to be.
Yeah.
And now it's 325 million, or no, 327. Sorry, 327 million. And again, it was supposed to be so much every year thereafter. Well, I don't know. I think I found where they gave Ontario got like $2 million. That's all I can find.
Yeah.
And
I think Surrey got some.
Surrey got some, but that was during this past summer, and that was Bill Blair was out there doing a pre-election freaking pony dance there because they were having such a problem out there with the gangs and stuff.
Yeah.
That's a nasty place out there.
Yeah.
Surrey and Kamloops and all that. It's all gang run.
This is all drugs.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
And anyway, so I'm calling bullshit.
Yes.
Right? You know, that money was just a number that they threw out there, and they never had any intentions of putting that out there.
No.
Never will.
No, they just keep re-promising it.
Re-promising it, but it keeps shrinking. Now, I don't know. I could tell you a story, but I'm not going to say it on here. But it's. But I got another story about money that happened here. But anyway, it's crazy. I don't understand why they don't put the money in. I mean, the police chiefs asked for it.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't do anything. They got no money. They have no resources to do anything. I mean, the city of Toronto. Like, I don't. What's the problem there? Is it lack of? Well, it's obviously lack of funding, lack of leadership, and they don't have enough officers.
Well, didn't they cut back their gangs and?
They
gangs and
did.
task force?
Yeah, John Tory. Yep.
That's
So,
the same guy who on New Year's Day, when that kid got shot,
yeah.
said, I don't understand how this keeps happening.
Yeah. There was another one this morning. Carjacking.
Really?
Yeah, black guy come up to another guy and put the gun to his head and stole his car. Away he went. So I don't think he shot him or anything like that. I think it was just a carjacking. But I mean, they're looking for another black male that in his 20s or whatever. There was the knife incident there on the weekend. Was that on the weekend there? Fellow went around and stabbed 3 seniors with a knife.
Yeah.
I think the cops ended up shooting him. But it's daily.
Yep.
And
Well, it's Toronto.
Who's that?
Toronto.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a shithole,
I
right?
live in the north.
I remember years ago, I went to Montreal, and this is way back. But anyway, I was up there for work, and I was staying in old Montreal. And that was right at the height of the biker gang wars there between Hell's Angels and the Rock Machine and all that. Anyway, my first night there, right around the corner from where I was staying, they shot a guy, executed him right in his garage, like his little underground parking garage there. He had his place. And like, you walk down, and they had some of these open air biker bar things going on down there on St. Catherine Street. I mean, it was sketchy. You didn't. It was bad, but yeah, I'll never forget that.
Well, you're not. That's the element you're never going to get rid of, right?
No, because as soon as you get rid of one, another one moves in. That's the way it works.
And
right?
they're going to find some sort of weapon, whatever. It is, right?
I mean, Christ, they were, I mean, in that case, I mean, they were shooting people, they were blowing them up, whatever they get their hands on, right?
Yeah, I remember that. That was like mid 80s, I think, wasn't it? 84, 85, somewhere in there.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah. All right, I want to play another clip here for you. This is actually the one that I should have played to begin with. Where are we here?
In October, Canadians confided in their elected officials a clear mandate to restrict the use of these weapons in Canada, and we intend to maintain our engagement.
For military-grade assault weapons in Canada. 1,500 models and variants of these firearms by way of regulations.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting, the message that was given in English and then the total message, the complete message in English and French.
Yeah.
Where he said, we have a clear mandate too.
Yeah.
Because the block is on the side.
They only relayed that in French, didn't they? It wasn't in the English?
Exactly, correct.
Yeah. That's
because the block's on the side with this.
Yeah. That was for all his friends in Quebec there.
Quebec tried to restart their own gun registry, did they not?
Yep.
Right?
Well, they got, what was it? No compliance on that.
Probably about as good as Australia.
Yeah. New Zealand.
Just remind me one thing, Robert. Who got the popular vote in the last election?
Andrew Scheer got the popular vote. Conservatives.
It was, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I just wanted to double check that clear mandate statement of Trudeau's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
We can call bullshit on that one too then, right?
Yeah, it was 60-40. 60% of the national or the popularity vote was for Andrew Scheer and the Conservatives.
Yeah. And that's exactly why America has an electoral college.
Yeah.
It's to stop Ontario and Quebec from electing all of our...
And it's exactly why the Trudeau Liberals reneged on election reform.
Exactly. because they knew it.
That was
All
the
right.
big thing. They were going to do that in 2015, right? Got in.
Yep.
Oh, the tangled webs we weave.
That was the first one they backed out on, man.
Yeah.
After that bullshit of a survey they put out.
Yeah.
They're really good at doing those bullshit surveys.
You had to get that Christmas vacation in there at Fantasy Island.
Yeah. All right. Let's go to another one here. This is the one where Trudeau says you don't need an AR-15 to shoot a deer.
I almost cried.
Oh, I know, right?
I had visions of Bambi when Bambi's mother got shot.
Weapons were designed for one purpose and one purpose only: to kill the largest number of people out of time. There is no use and no place for such weapons in Canada.
Pass me a tissue.
No use and no place.
Yeah.
Unless you call it a police carbine, apparently.
Yeah.
In which case, it's okay.
Yeah.
But you don't need an AR-15 to shoot a deer.
It's funny about that because you're not allowed to. I don't, you know. Somebody told me that an AR-15 was restricted, and the only place that you were allowed to use it was at a government-sanctioned shooting range.
I'm pretty sure I heard that before as well. But you know what else I've heard, Robert, is there's other guns out there that are exactly the same that are used every day to hunt deer.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that Ruger Mini 14 actually that's on the list is a very popular deer rifle. Very popular.
Heard that.
Yeah. But you know what's interesting, because you're from the Northwest Territories as well, right? So if we look at our hunting regulations, when we look at going hunting, can we use a 223?
Are you saying can we use an AR-15?
223 in general.
223 in general? No, I don't think so.
Only for coyotes and smaller.
Yeah.
Because we don't have deer. We have caribou and moose and bigger game, right?
Yeah.
So the 243 in our hunting regulations is the smallest caliber that you can take a medium to big size game with in the NWT.
Yeah.
So an AR-15 deemed by the government is not even powerful enough, and we'll come back to this in a second, powerful enough to take a medium to big size game up here.
Mm.
They're able to take deer in other jurisdictions down south where they have deer. Like I said, the Mini 14 is a pretty popular deer rifle in my understanding. I don't own one. I wish I did at this point, but yeah. And we're going to talk at the end of this about the people that are allowed to use 223s still to hunt deer. We'll get there in a second. Where do we want to go next? So that was Trudeau. Like I said, Trudeau was a lot of emotion and conjecture and a lot of drama because, that's his gig, right?
Yeah.
So this podcast, I don't know if I told you this, Robert, this podcast is actually part of something bigger I'm doing called Patriotism and Perseverance.
Yeah, you said it was part of a project, so.
Yeah, so I'm going to be talking about other things, self-defense and, survival stuff and hunting and that kind of thing. But I'm starting a new kind of thing for the website, which is still under construction, but called Bill Blair Lies. Because he does this a lot.
That's not a lie.
So I've got a couple. I've got 3 Bill Blair Lies tagged videos here, and I've got another one here that I want to talk to you about as well. But let's just go through a couple of these here. Bill Blair Lies about Canada's worst mass shooting. And this is important because words matter.
Oh, yeah.
Ongoing COVID-19 pandemic. Canada suffered its worst mass shooting in the country's history. 22 innocent lives were lost over the course of a weekend rampage.
Liar.
Liar. Why is he lying, Robert?
Because 9 people were not shot. They burnt to death in fires.
He committed arson as well, didn't he?
He firebombed the houses.
But he was pretty clear in his statement, wasn't he?
He was.
Worst mass shooting.
Yep. And
2 people.
It was mentioned again today, the same words.
You know,
Not
if I was
not
Natalie
by
Provost,
him, but it was by
Yeah.
media. Media announced it again today. Forced mass shooting in Canada.
it's taking over the narrative, isn't it?
Mm.
I'll tell you, if I was Natalie Provost right now, I'd be a little upset.
Yeah.
Because he's taken away my victimhood as being a victim of Canada's largest mass shooting, which still rightfully is École Polytechnique.
It is.
All right, so that's that. Trudeau said something kind of similar, but it wasn't an out-and-out lie. Let's see, which one did I want to play next? Bill Blair lies about. Oh, this is good. I love this one. Ready for this?
Yeah,
Dun-
right.
Not a new thing in our society, but it's made all the more deadly with the proliferation of firearms that are more powerful than ever before.
Oh my God. What?
What?
Yeah. Like, who wrote that?
How long have we had semi-automatics?
Oh, me.
Since 1907?
Yep.
The Winchester 1907. I don't know what it was calibrated in, but do you think that bullet's changed since then?
No. No.
This isn't the war on drugs.
Yeah.
Guns,
I mean-
guns haven't gotten more powerful since the 60s.
Yeah, I mean, back then, I mean, they made their ammo was made to fit in everything, and everything was going to fire it, and it was going to freaking put a nice big hole in whatever it hit.
Yes, you can have some.
You know? And
Yeah, so
then
that-
you had your, and don't forget your trench shotguns there too, with the bayonet on the front of them.
What did he do before he became a politician again?
He was a failed police chief of Toronto.
20 years, no?
You know, I saw some documentaries the other day.
Yep.
I shouldn't say the other day. I think it was a weekend or two ago. But anyway, it was dealing with with some high-profile homicides in Toronto, and these were unsolved cases. Some of them were unsolved, but this was under Bill Blair's watch.
Right.
And some of the clips, actually, he was in them. And although you had to be really quick to catch it, to see him in these things, because they kind of edited it right quick, because they knew that people were going to see him and say, yeah, you were a fuck up right back from day one.
He really should know better, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Come on. So I just want to give a shout out to everyone online. We have 3 whole people watching, Robert.
Well,
Awesome. For a first live episode, I think that's great. If you guys are out there, just give me a shout out online. Tell me who you are. Say hi. I'd like to interact with you guys there. All right. So the next one I want to do. This one really pissed me off. This isn't tagged, but it's still a good one here. So let's do this. Share the screen up, and Bill Blair. There we go.
We are ending the proliferation of these weapons and the militarization of our society. From this moment forward, the number of these guns will only decrease in Canada. We've heard many people express concern about the militarization of our police, and this is a direct consequence of the militarization of society.
why is that, Bill? Bill, why is it that people feel the necessity to get a firearms license, not only because they want to go hunting and target shooting, but because your government's inability to close our borders, deal with crime, don't want to apparently do anything for mental health, letting everybody and their freaking dog walk into the country. So we got, what, how many thousands of people coming in here? Unemployable, of course, because they don't have any skills. They're unemployable. They're here to basically get national welfare off of you and I. And I don't know. There's legitimate cases, yes, for immigration, but these people that are walking into this country illegally, there's no need of it. And this is where all the crime is coming from in your major centers. Especially your Toronto, Quebec. They got their problems too, but they kind of muffle it. They kind of stifle the media a little bit more. And Toronto's kind of in your face, right? But you know, and I've asked Bill Blair this question myself. I sent him a letter, and I said, Bill, I said, why is it that there's in excess of 50,000 people, migrants, that have been refused entry into Canada, ordered deported, and they're still here from 3 years ago?
Because they don't have enough money.
Yeah. And they lost track of them all. So
Yeah.
they're out there right now. They're all applying for their CREB payments right now. Apparently they got a big run.
You know, I've got no problem with immigration as a concept. I think as a concept, it's a win-lose, right? Because you only ever usually get the best of the other country, which is a problem for the other country. But
and that's exactly right. I mean, there's legitimate cases and stuff, right? I mean, yeah, right. I mean, there's people that want to come here and deserve to come here.
Yeah, as far as bringing in hundreds of thousands of people with no plan, no infrastructure, and no capacity to support them properly, where the hell do you think they're going to turn?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what are you doing? You had to kick people, homeless people, out of shelters,
right,
to house these other people.
You had to kick military people out of their houses,
to
shelter them.
And I don't, you know, we can't afford to do this.
Yeah,
we can't afford to do this. And you know, they're always going on about diversity is our strength. Bullshit. Diversity under their plan is divisive. It's dividing the country.
Too quickly will rip you apart.
Yeah.
Diversity that you can amalgamate is a good thing, but too quickly, too fast, too much is a problem. Any change too much, too fast is a problem, right? You can't manage it. Doesn't matter what it is.
They had no plan. They had no plan. They just thought they were going to bring in all these people, and the world was going to say, "Oh my God, you guys are the greatest people in the world. Here, Justin, here's your UN seat."
Yeah. Yeah, our prime minister has Trump derangement syndrome, big time.
Yeah. I don't know. And like we even see it here. It seems to be a revolving door. There's always new faces coming through here, like in Yellowknife.
Yeah.
And you know, it just seems like it changes. But where are these people going? They're here for a short period of time, whether I don't know whether they're sponsored or whatever, and they come in and but then they're gone. Like where are they going? You know.
Who knows? Who knows? Government doesn't either, apparently.
Yeah.
All right, I don't want to get too much down the immigration rabbit hole because that's a whole nother long podcast. But you want to know what I read into that statement? When he said that the militarization of the police is a direct result of the militarization of society, is that the government needs to have armored personnel carriers because they're scared of lawfully abiding firearms owners. People
exactly.
Vetted, approved, and daily vetted by the RCMP themselves. That's why we need armored personnel carriers in this country. So, once they take away our guns, are they going to start taking away the APCs? Are they going to get rid of them?
Nope.
Because there's no more Hells Angels. There's no more triads out in Vancouver. There's no more gangs in Toronto. Yeah, bullshit.
It's not going to stop the flow of the guns coming into the country.
Nope.
And it's just going to put, well, you know yourself, you know, tomorrow if I wanted to go and get an illegal gun, I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have much trouble trying to get it.
Nope.
I remember back in the days when growing up in Nova Scotia there, and I was working there, and a buddy of mine called me up and saying, you want a couple handguns? And I said, well, what do you got? He said, brand new 357s, Smith & Wesson. And I said, where the hell did you get those? He said, from Halifax. Right? And I said, Halifax? He said, yeah, he's friends of mine, friends of his, AKA Hells Angels, who controlled practically everything down there at the time. Yeah. They were getting container loads of firearms coming in Port of Halifax. And it was just wholesale prices, a couple $100, you could have a gun. See you later.
I grew up as a kid in Niagara-on-the-Lake, which is in between Niagara Falls and St. Catharines. So I'm pretty well familiar with illegal firearms that have been smuggled across the border by people for sure. So yeah, so that's that one. And then let's take another. And this one is also important. It's actually critical because this came out because last summer when Toronto was having all of its problems, there was a lot of calls to ban handguns, wasn't there?
Yes, there was. And
there was a lot of feedback that came back. As a matter of fact, they did a whole survey, didn't they?
They did.
And what did the government of Canada find?
The public, well, it was Bill Blair doing his national, whatever you want to call it, listen to me talk, coast to coast consultations by invite only. But anyway, I guess through public safety, they ran that government online survey. And it specifically stated that there was no, what did they say, sufficient, it was in two parts. Anyway, as far as the rifles, the AR assault style, there was no desire for any increased restrictions on those. And there was absolutely no appetite for a handgun ban.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. So with that said, let's check out this clip. Where are we here?
For decades, chiefs of police, advocacy groups, grieving families, everyday Canadians have been calling for a ban of these types of firearms, guns that were designed for soldiers to kill other soldiers, and not
Article after article come out.
For decades,
so you know, I got her going again here. Sorry. Yeah, lies and misinformation to push a political agenda.
It's yeah, and this puzzles me too. Is how is it that him in particular, can stand there day after day after day and spew the same lies and misinformation that he has been called out on, repeatedly called out on, documented. We got him. Well, I mean, prime example is that the visit that Rod and Tracy had with him. There it is. He's in his constituency office.
Yeah, that was awesome.
That was golden, right? I thought he was going to have a freaking stroke right there, like the head was going to explode.
That would have made our lives too simple.
But, you know, how do you do that? Why is he not being? Why is the media not saying, Bill, you're lying?
Right. How long did he spout that domestic crime gun statistic?
Yeah, and Jesus Christ, that radio interview that Tracy did there the other morning.
I didn't hear it.
She did it was one of the talk shows. She did an interview in the morning, and they had a surgeon, trauma surgeon, I think it was, from Edmonton, for the Doctors from Protection from Guns or stuff like that. And he said and spewed the same thing. Half of the guns come from, you know, legal firearms owners, or people are breaking into their houses and stealing their guns, going out and killing other people. And I said, oh my God.
Yeah. And that was debunked, right?
Pardon me?
That was debunked, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Through an ATIP.
Yes.
And what department?
Dennis Young.
Dennis Young. And what department did he get that information from? Do you remember?
That came from Stats Canada. I guess all that information goes through Stats Canada.
The one that I saw actually came from Toronto. The one that had
that was the police department itself.
The one that had the number of searches on identified guns and crime guns. And
yeah.
Which department did Bill Blair run again for many years?
The Toronto Police Department. City of Toronto.
And he spouted that crap for well over a year.
Yeah, he did. Even when they brought it up during the public consultations that they had there at Parliament, and he came out with that, and they sat there and they said, no, no, Bill, that's not true, Bill, no, and he puffed and he and that same stuff was being spewed in the Senate. So, it didn't matter. We had all our industry experts, firearms experts. We had our own doctors. We had all the documentation, all the true information there, and they totally ignored every bit of it.
Yeah. Every bit of it. Yeah.
And they just said.
I watched Gary Bowser's speech.
Yeah.
That was awesome. Good. Sorry, my daughter is here. So this is the live screen, and that's the a little behind. So she's playing with herself. Mm-hmm. But when you create distractions in the background, other people have to pay attention to it, right? So stop it. All right. Yeah. So she distracted me. What the hell were we talking about?
We were talking about Bill Blair.
Bill Blair, yes, Bill Blair with his last Bill Blair lies, support for gun bans. All right, so the last kind of little bit of it I want to talk about this is the only people that are allowed to hunt with their semi-automatics anymore for the next 2 years. I wonder if Michael McLeod's going to claim that this is why he had a seat at the table, was to do this for Indigenous people.
Actually, that was the last thing I think discussion he and I had, because I asked him if he was a licensed firearm owner.
Yeah.
And no, he would not answer it.
Oh, he wouldn't?
He would not answer it.
Because his email to me said that he grew up hunting and all that sort of stuff.
Yep, I still have that. Told me he liked to hunt and he went out in the land and blah, 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 blah. And I said, that's all well and good, but I said, are you a licensed firearm owner? I said, do you have your PAL? Never heard from him again.
Be good. Yeah, interesting distinction though, huh?
Yep.
So,
well, we can go back to Animal Farm. All pigs are equal. Some pigs are more equal than others, right?
More equal than others. But it's interesting that you don't need an AR-15 to take down a deer.
No.
You can't use these guns to hunt. There's no legitimate purpose or use for them in this country. Yet we have to give traditional sustenance hunters an exemption to still use them for 2 years.
Yep. Even though.
Does that not imply that traditional sustenance hunters must be using them to hunt traditionally for sustenance? Would that not follow? It's a quandary, isn't it?
How do you even, I don't know, how do you even respond to that? You're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, because you know the card's going to come out, right? So, I used to run, we used to run into this all the time back in Nova Scotia, with the salmon fishing, and it was recreational for us. We have to go and in the fall get a salmon license and fly fishing only, and you know, you had to release all big salmon that were 26.7 inches, whatever. If it was under 27 inches, you could keep it. If it was over 27 inches, you had to throw it back, right? Release it unharmed. But didn't apply to anybody else. So, you know,
Because I'm pretty sure all Canadians have a traditional heritage of hunting.
yeah.
Pretty sure.
Well, where did the firearms come from, you know, in the first place?
Exactly.
Huh? I'm pretty sure the European settlers brought them over.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
anyway, I don't know.
The thing that kind of concerns me is most of the indigenous peoples that I talk to say, but we have an exemption. We get to keep ours.
Yeah.
No, you don't.
Mm.
You have 2 years to find a new one. And then
Yeah.
I'll take them anyways. Did you hear the interview with Dennis Bagnall out of Yukon?
No.
He specifically, repeatedly said, we are not coming to take those guns. There is a 2-year amnesty.
Mm.
Like, what are you going to do in 2 years?
Yeah. Yeah. They're going to press a button and deactivate them all, right? Magically take them.
What?
Yeah.
That makes no sense.
Yeah.
So I just want to go back. I just want to show one more thing that's very important for people to know. And this is going to be a special treat for we're up to 4 people. Woohoo! For the 4 people that have bothered to stick through us with this, I'm going to go back to the what you need to know sheet from the RCMP. And I'm going to show this. So we're going to go over this again. The government intends, I'm just going to highlight this, to implement a buyback program and is looking at a range of options. More information on a buyback program will be available at a later date. Let's read the next line. This is critical, folks. If you relinquish a newly prohibited firearm or device before the implementation of the buyback program, you won't be eligible for compensation once the program is announced.
Yeah. So you better keep it.
Keep it.
Don't give it up.
We have 2 years to defeat this government.
2 years or less.
I won't put on the rest of that phrase that I've been putting on in private, but we have 2 years to defeat this government. And in doing so, I just want to show a couple more things. I'm just going to share the screen one more time here. If I can get my hover to go away. Go back to my little, where it disappeared. My web browser. We have 2 petitions going around at this point in time. The most important one I want folks to focus on is called E2574. This is the one sponsored by Michelle Rempel out of Calgary, Nose Hill. Most people in the firearms community should know her. Let's just do a refresh here and let's see what the current number of people who are asking. Basically, what are we asking for here, Robert? This is a repeal of the current act, right?
Yeah. And an apology.
Nice. There you go. And there are currently 45,052 signatures. This was launched, folks, at 9:20 this morning. So this is an amazing response. Just remind me again, Robert, what was the previously standing top petition of all time?
That was the one, what was 175,000 roughly signatures? And that was for basically to leave us alone.
Specifically to not use the order in council to ban firearms.
Yep.
What they just did.
Yep.
Right.
Use
okay.
it.
Just clarifying. There's another one here, and I don't know why they don't coordinate on this. This is another conservative MP as well.
And there was a lot of chatter about this this evening as well. A bit of confusing. People, you know, is there one? Is there two? Why is there two? You know, my message is always just sign the damn thing. Right?
Yeah.
Sign it and share it.
And at the end of the day, this is what matters. We, the undersized citizens, ask the government of Canada to immediately repeal the order in council. And that is what this one here, immediately scrap the government's May 1st order in council. So go ahead and sign them both. Let's just do a quick refresh on this one here and see
Now, remember when the gun grabbers did their own, had one sponsored, what was the total signatures on that?
14,000, I think, 12,000.
Well, I think they got around 22,000 or something. I don't know. 20. Well, let's just say we'll give them the benefit of the doubt, and we'll say they got 27,000 signatures. How many's there already today for Michelle Rimples?
Yeah, 25, I think it was. 25. Do you remember? 45.
45.
About 5 o'clock or 9:20 this morning it started, and we're already at 45. So yeah, that's,
So not even 24 hours in, and they've already pretty much doubled the amount of signatures
of that entire.
that the anti-gun people were able to muster over the lifespan of their petition for handgun and assault rifle bans. So, I tell you, but yet, I mean, they're saying that the majority of Canadians want bans. But,
Just shows you their democratic process.
Yeah,
In this country.
it's all about you know, the misinformation.
Yeah.
Is what's driving it.
Yeah.
And you know, again, people are missing the message. I mean, they look at what happened there in Nova Scotia. You know, as terrible as that was, no firearm ban would have prevented that. You had a mentally unstable individual, highly intelligent, because he was no dummy.
Nope.
He had the means and he had the time to plan this all out. And he had it well thought out.
He was,
So,
for all intents and purposes, a respected professional.
yeah.
Right.
Now, grant you, he had a history of red flags that nobody, you know, his own father told the police back in the day.
Yep.
That, you know, well, he got beat up by him. So his son beat up his father. And he said he told the police that, you know, he's got a massive cache of guns. Nothing ever happened.
You know, that's interesting you say that, because I was going through the list of examples that Trudeau and Bill Blair gave during their little speeches there. There was École Polytechnique. There was Mayor Thorpe. We remember Mayor Thorpe. That was, let's just refresh all this because we tend to lose our minds after a while. RCMP was going in to do a search and seizure of property for a possible grow-op, was it not? I think.
Yeah, something like that.
So criminal involvement, right? Dawson College. That's why the CX Storm is on there.
The mosque.
Moncton was the 305.
Yeah.
Now, it's interesting is when you go back, I was using Wikipedia to go back and look at these. There's no notation as to whether or not any of these guys had licenses or whether they were legal or illegal owners or how that kind of played into it. The shooter from La Loche, Saskatchewan, though, was 17 years old.
Yeah.
There was no license there. He used a shotgun. If I'm not mistaken, Moncton College was a 305. The Dawson College shooter, I think, had more than a CX on him. Mayor Thorpe obviously had a lot. And then, of course, there was the mosque shooting in Quebec.
Okay, now the mosque shooting, we had his rifle malfunctioned because he tried to make a high capacity mag. So anyway, it jammed the gun. So he just stood it up against the wall, I guess, and went about his business with a Glock.
But were there other not red flags at that shooting? Or is there a different one that I'm thinking of?
Well, I'm sure that there was. I'm not 100% sure. There was the one downtown Toronto. There was definitely red flags at that. The guy had a stolen gun. His brother was vegetated. That was the one with all the fentanyl.
Yeah, the Danforth. Trudeau used that as a reason for this ban.
Yeah, and I mean, there's another problem. I mean, that was a terrorist attack,
Yeah, exactly. And
right?
they declared Fredericton a terrorist attack as well, I think, did they not?
Polly was a terrorist attack.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a guy, I'm not sure what his given name was, but I mean, he arrived in Canada, changed his name to Mark Lapine.
Yeah.
When he was applying, he was interviewed and so on and so forth, and they red flagged him.
And was he not the one he got a dishonorable not fit discharge from the military?
Oh, I'm not sure of that. I know that they red flagged him and he was released to his mother.
Yeah,
for mental issues.
He
Yeah.
tried to get a gun off her or something, I think, if my memory serves. But I looked at him earlier, and he entered into the military, but was discharged because he was unfit before he received significant weapons training, they said.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
And the firearm that he used, which was the Mini 14, he had tried to modify it and ended up buggering it up so that it was basically a bolt action. He had to cycle the action every time to fire a shot.
He broke the gas.
So, but again, I mean, here, you look at all this stuff, these are people that are all mentally ill.
Yeah.
Right? And in most of the cases, there was red flags.
Yeah.
The Danforth shooter, he was well known to police.
Yeah.
Been in trouble.
Yeah, I know one of the security guards he threatened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nova Scotia, the Nova Scotia thing there, tons of red flags there. But and I can't wrap my head around that either, is why his girlfriend, there was a history there, right? I mean, their neighbors knew how abusive he was and jealous or whatever of her. And so, but that particular night, I mean, she took off in the woods.
Yeah.
Did she have her cell phone with her?
I actually saw at one point the cops wanted to charge him, but she refused.
Yeah. So,
of course, it would make it worse.
So here we go. I mean, she comes out of the woods there in the morning or whatever, and the RCMP pick her up. And, here's the picture. This is the car he's driving. And it wasn't until that time that they knew that he had a spitting image of an RCMP freaking cruiser.
Yeah.
And he was dressed in an RCMP uniform. So,
and all that stuff around the alerts and all that stuff going around.
Yep.
But yeah, no background check, none of that stuff would have picked up on him, right? No criminal history, apparently no mental background, because their enhanced background checks should have caught that after their last round of changes.
Seemed like he had an endless supply of money, because he had basically ripped everybody off that he came into contact with.
Yeah.
Some pretty shady business dealings there where, he basically stole people's property right out from underneath them, even his own family. So, I don't know.
A lot of personal flags, as always. As always.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's the end of what I've got for tonight there, pal. Just a reminder to everyone, please sign those petitions. All right. We need to get our voice out there. Otherwise, it's going to be a rough 2-year go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all we can do, boys. Everybody's got to stick together and keep plugging away. I mean, this fight is far from over. And, maybe they're thinking that we're just going to roll over and go away, but I think it's going to ramp up even more. I mean, I think people are, as far as the firearms and the sport shooting community is concerned, enough's enough. To use their words, enough is enough.
The fight is just beginning.
Yeah.
Fight is just beginning. All right, sir. I want to thank you for your time tonight. We're at about an hour and 50 minutes. That was quite a nice intro chat. Thank you for your input. I appreciate it as always.
I'm sorry that we had so many freaking issues there at the beginning, but
living in the north, bud.
Yeah, living in the north.
My internet's been perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Hopefully we'll
Awesome.
get Sean on next time and reach out to a couple more guys, different interests and stuff like that. I got a couple guys back in Ontario I wouldn't mind seeing again and having a chat with. So we'll see if we can do this again soon.
Okay. Have a
All
good
right.
night.
Thanks. You too.
All right. Night.